Good morning, I'm Caren, and we have 15 minutes together for this 15-minute morning yoga sequence. You might find it helpful to grab a couple yoga blocks like these, but it's not necessary. Let's begin in Virasana, Hero's Pose. Come to your mat, to your knees, and separate your feet slightly behind you, the knees hip distance apart. Take your thumbs into the knee creases and your hands alongside the meaty part of your calves. And then just reach the calves outward as you sink down to the floor. Now, if you notice right away that your knees are protesting, find a yoga block or even two and place that underneath your seat. Find a tall spine. And if you notice again here that the knees just don't like this position today, come into an easy seat instead, cross-legged. Wherever you end up, let's close the eyes momentarily and release the hands to the thighs. Take a big breath in and a big breath out. Start to feel the breath deeper into the throat and the abdomen, encouraging the whole torso to begin to move more deeply and fluidly in the morning. Slowly exhale and open your eyes. And now reach your hands back behind you. Plant into either your fingertips or your palms, whatever you can access. Bend your elbows straight back behind you. Carve the shoulder blades together underneath you and lift the sternum toward the ceiling. Lift the gaze toward the ceiling. Ensure that your elbows are still slightly bent and the upper arms are hugging in toward one another to lift the back of the heart toward the front of the chest. Take a couple expansive breaths across the chest and emptying completely out into your abdomen. On your next exhale, loosen your spine and walk your hands back forward. Open your arms in front of you, parallel to the ground, and take your right elbow underneath your left for eagle arms. The backs of the hands could touch, or the palms of the hands. Squeeze gently at the elbows and lift the elbows up to about shoulder height. Now melt the front rib cage inward and sink the upper arms backward. Now loosen through the neck so that you isolate this sensation in the middle of the shoulder blades. Continue to breathe deeply and slowly, feeling the limbs awaken. One more inhale. And exhale, release the elbows down, unwind through the arms. Take a couple shoulder rolls forward and back. And then bring the arms straight in front of you one more time. Left elbow underneath the right. Take hold wherever the hands meet or the backs of the hands meet. And line this up similarly. The elbows up to shoulder height. The rib cage soft. Upper arms sink backwards. Full breath in, and full breath out. Take your exhale to gently release, and allow the shoulders to roll a couple times. And we'll come out of Hero's Pose, plant the hands forward, and lift the legs back one at a time, squeezing all the muscles in toward the bones to feel the blood rush back into the knees. And now let's remove any props that you have from the mat, if you have them, and arrive in tabletop position. The hands stack under the shoulders, knees under the hips. Flatten the tops of the feet to the ground and make contact here through the tops of the feet, as well as through the palms. On an inhale, descend your abdomen. Curl through the back of your head up toward the ceiling into cow pose. And then exhale, tilt the chin in toward the chest. Undulate the spine toward the ceiling into cat. Inhale, drop the belly into cow pose. And exhale, arch the spine high to cat. Continue with your own pace here. Discovering what feels nice for the spine. Maybe you hang out in one of the positions for a bit longer. And truly just enjoy those moments of breath connecting to body. And finally, take one more round. And exhale. Empty everything as you arrive back to a neutral spine on your inhale. Walk your hands forward, tuck your toes under, and lift momentarily to a high plank position. Reach through the crown and backward through the heels. Now inhale and send the hips high to downward facing dog. Arrange the feet hip distance apart. Widen through the palms and especially press down into the index knuckle and the thumb. And then sink the head deeply for a few moments. Relax it side to side, forward and back. Really let it hang out from the spine. Now bend into your knees and reach your ears up along your biceps. Press firmly into your arms so that your shoulders lodge to the upper back area a little bit more completely. And then anchor the thigh bones straight backward, lifting a little bit from the inner ankles and the heels, not striving to get them toward the ground, but just to discover a full body stretch. Now finally, as you arrive in stillness, continue to breathe and lift your low rib cage up and in. Find one more deep breath in. And deep breath out. Release your knees back down to the ground. I'll turn to face toward you for this next posture as we move into Parigasana gate pose. So come to kneeling and extend your left leg out to the side. You can turn on your mat as well if that makes it more comfortable for you to have some anchor for your feet. Plant your hands to your hips and allow your hips to come to level. So work that left hip and left thigh bone in toward the socket, coming to level. And float the left arm down the left leg and inhale up through the right arm toward the ceiling and eventually maybe reaching it all the way over toward the foot. If you notice that the right shoulder collapses inward toward the face, just open and lift up a little bit higher and press the sternum forward in front of you. Now at the same time, melt the middle of your rib cage backward. Descend your tailbone down toward the ground. Find one more huge breath in into this side body stretch. And big breath out. Inhale, lift back up to center. Take your hands to your hips. Still find that level pelvis. And now plant your hands straight down in front of you into tabletop. If, when we go into the twist, this becomes uncomfortable for you, you can always step your left leg into a full tabletop position. Otherwise, inhale that left arm straight out to the left, parallel to the ground, then exhale and thread it through underneath the right. You might hover, you might come all the way to the ground though, and you can use this right arm here like a little bit of an anchor, elbow up toward the ceiling. Just dip the left arm over enough to feel the outer left shoulder open with sensation. Take one more breath in and breath out. Plant strongly into your right hand, lift through your abdomen, both hands down to the ground and step your left leg in. Bring yourself up again to kneeling, hands to hips. Let's move it over to the right side. Step the right leg out. Readjust yourself so that you have enough room and space on your mat. And then hands again to hips to find and discover a level pelvis. You'll find this opening here in the inner right thigh. Take an inhale, slide the right arm down and the left arm up. And your exhale, arch over toward the leg. Bring the shoulder blades together onto the back. Melt the low rib cage inward. Descend the tailbone. And then just lengthen over however it feels comfortable so that you can still open your left shoulder backward. Take another expansive breath in. And expansive breath out. Catch the inhale, and let's lift back up to the center space. Hands to the hips. Keep the leg or choose to step it in. Hands to the floor into tabletop. Plant down into your left hand. Inhale your right arm straight out to the side, parallel to the ground. Then exhale and thread it through for your twist. Arrange your arms so that you can sustain the pose and not too much weight is dumping down into your face. Find one more breath in. And breathe it out. Plant down into your left hand and inhale your right arm back up, tabletop position. Step your right leg inward. Once you're here, I'll turn back forward toward my mat. You stay as you are and just plant your feet to the ground. Send your hips toward the ceiling and fold into Uttanasana, standing forward bend. You can bend the knees as much as you like, relax the crown toward the ground, and maybe take hold of opposite elbows into ragdoll. Allow yourself to sway side to side, to at once feel rooted and long through the legs, and also discover that opening lightness and levity that's arrived in the chest and the head. Take one more breath in. Breathe out and release your arms. Then plant them forward to the ground and step one leg back at a time, back into your plank position. Lift the back of the head toward the ceiling. And then we'll send ourselves down as a unit, either keeping the knees lifted or tapping them down. Elbows bend in by your sides. Lift through your rib cage toward the ceiling and then lower yourself onto your abdomen. Plant the hands by the shoulders. Squeeze the elbows inward. Let the forehead touch to the mat. Inhale into Cobra Pose. Reach the feet downward and behind you, and then inhale and lift up into your back body. Peel your chest away from the ground. Exhale and flow back down to the floor. 2 more at your own pace. Use very little weight into the hands. Just lift into the back of your heart. And find your last one a bit more effortless. Just flow up with the breath. And exhale, bring it all the way back down. Press into your knees. Lift through your hips. Send your knees wide and your toes to touch. And sink your hips into child's pose. Bring the forehead to the mat as you extend the arms forward. Melt every bit of tension in your body. And allow yourself to come to stillness. Set an intention for your day. Take an inhale and lift up to a comfortable seat. And once you arrive, bring your hands together at your heart. If you enjoyed this morning yoga sequence, give it a like and share with me in the comments how it went before you begin your day. Subscribe to my channel for more yoga and meditation videos, and sign up for my free e-letter on my website so that you can get exclusive updates about how to take yoga and meditation into your everyday life. Thank you for your presence. I deeply honor your light. Namaste.